श्रीगणेशाय नमः। श्रीगौरीशङ्कराभ्यः नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वेदव्यासं स्मात्मरूपं सत्यसन्धं परायणं शान्तं जितेन्द्रिय क्रोधं सशिष्यं प्रणमाम्यहम्। शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमुबोध्य किङ्करे सदामाया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये। ध्यायेन्नित्यं महेशं रजतिहरिनिभं चारुचन्द्रावसन्तं रत्नाकल्पोज्ज्वलाङ्गं परशमग्रयवराभीतिहस्तं प्रसन्नं पद्मासीनं समन्तास्तुतम् अमरगणैर्व्याघ्रकृत्तिं वसानं विश्वाद्यं विश्ववद्यं निखिलभयहरं पञ्चवक्त्रं त्रिनेत्रं कलाभ्यां चूडालङ्कृतव शशिकलाभ्यां निजपदफलाभ्यां भक्तेश प्रकटितफलाभ्यां भवति मे शिवाभ्यां मस्तोकत्रिभुवन शिवाभ्यां प्रतिपुनर्भवाभ्याम् आनन्दस्परद्भवानुभवाभ्यां नतरीयम् आद्यन्तमङ्गलम् अजातसमानभावमार्ग्यं तमीशम् अचरामरम् आत्मदेवं पञ्चाननं प्रबलपञ्चविनोदशीलं सम्भावये मनसि शङ्करम् अम्बिकेशम् विश्वोद्भवस्थितिलयादिकेशवेतुमेकम् गौरीपतिर्विदधतत्त्वम् अनन्तम् अनन्तकीर्तिम् मायाश्रियं विगतमायम् अचिन्त्यरूपं बोधस्वरूपं बलं हि शिवं नमामि. Salutations to Namaskara to Ganesha, Gauri Shankara, and Namaskara to Gurus in the form of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, and to Namaskaras to Vedavyasa, Jagadguru Sri Shankara Bhagavad-pada. And then we looked at here, I just recited 2-3 shlokas. We'll quickly go through as part of this Shivaratri Vrata Mahimā. We'll quickly look at the meaning of these 2-3 shlokas. First one is Dhyayen Nityam Mahesham, starting with. So here it says, I meditate daily. Nityam means daily or always. I meditate always on Mahesha, Mahaisha. So that is great Lord. Isha is Lord. So that Mahesha. Rajatagirinibham means, so is Rajata means silver. So is on that, shining on that silvery mountain or snow-covered mountain. Charuchandra Vasantam, who is adorned with the beautiful moon on his head. Ratna Kalpojvalangam, whose body is shining with precious gems and ornaments. Parashu Mriga Vara Bhiti Hastam. So he's holding battle axe Parashu. Mriga is he's holding deer in his hand, and Vara Bhiti Hastam. So he's having the Abhaya Mudra and Vara Mudra. So he's having those two mudras in his hand, 2 hands. Prasannam, he's always gracious. Padmasinam Samantat, who is seated on the lotus. Tutatam Amaraganeir Vyagrakrittim Vasanam. So he's praised by all the Devata Ganas, and then who is having tiger skin. Vishwadyam, who is the Adi, so he is the origin of all the universe. Vishwa and Vishwavadyam is the creation, seed of all the creations. And Nikhilabayaharam Panchavaktram Trinetram, so he is the remover of all the fears. Panchavaktram, 5-faced, and Trinetram, he is having 3 eyes. So the next shloka here is from Sri Shankara Bhagavad-pad's Jagadguru Sri Shankaracharya's Shivananda Lahari. So Kalabhyam Chudalankrita Shashikalabhyam. So let this be my salutations to Parvati Parameshwara, who is Kala Swarupa, Kalabhyam, embodiment of art. Again, this shloka describes as Parameshwara or Parvati Parameshwara or the Nareshwara Rupa here. So he is the creator of this world, wearing Chandra like a flower on his head. Nijatapapalabhyam, who is as if they means here again, if we consider them as 2, Shiva and Parvati, then it is say, or it is he is joined as if they fruits of mutual penance. So Shiva did a penance for Parvati and Parvati did a penance for Shiva. Bhakteshu Prakadita Palabhyam, always giving fruits to devotees. Shivabhyam, auspicious one, Mangala Swarupa. Astoka Tribhuna Shivabhyam, one who is lavishly auspicious to three words. Hridir Punarbhavabhyam, again and again appear in the hearts of those sadhakas. Anandaspurad Anubhavabhyam, whose experience bliss that wells up. So this is the shloka from Sri Shivananda Lahari. The next two shlokas just mentioned, read out were the uh, said here for the Dhyana shlokas from Shiva Purana. Adyanta Mangalam Majata Samana Bhavamaryam. So again, I meditate on Shiva, Sambhavaye Manase Shankaram Ambikesham. So I meditate on the Shiva, Shankara, Ambikesha, Ambika's Lord, the Parvati's husband, Lord, Adyanta Mangalam, who is auspicious from the beginning and end, who is always auspicious, forever auspicious, ever auspicious, Ajata Samana Bhavamaryam. So Samanam Abhavamaryam. So he again, there is no parallel to him. He is Ajata. There is no birth to him. Ajaramaram Atmadevam. So he is again Aja. He is unborn. Amara is unaging, undying, and Atmadevam, he is the Lord of all the Atmas. Pancharanam, five-faced, in the form of Sadyojata, Vamadeva, Gaura, Tatpurusha, and Ishana. So those five faces of Shiva, five forms of Shiva, and Prabala Pancha Vinodashilam. So he is the dispeller of five powerful sins, Brahmahatyadi, Brahmahatya and others, five great sins. He is remover of that. And the second Dhyana shloka here listed is from the again Shiva Purana. Shivannavami Gauri Pati. So I bow to Shiva, who is the consort of Gauri, Vishwadbhavastiti, Layadikeshu Hetumekam. So I bow to that Shiva, who is the sole cause of this origin, sustenance, dissolution of the universe. Vidita Tattvam, who has understood the reality, Anantakirtim, who has endless renown, Maya Shriyam, who is the support of the Maya. Maya is dependent on him, Vigata Maya, but he is free from that influence of that Maya. Achintya Rupam, who is incomprehensible, who is unimaginable. Amalam, that means he is unsullied, and then Bodha Swarupam, who is of the perfect knowledge itself. So that Shivan, I bow to him, I meditate on that Shiva. So those are the meanings of this shlokas, Dhyana shlokas here. Now, coming to the Shivaratri Vrata Pravachana here, the topics we'd like to cover over these 2 days is first we will quickly look at what is meaning of Shiva, and then Shivaratri and its origin, the types of Shivaratri Vrata or when it should be performed, Vrata Vidhana, how to procedure or method of performing that Vrata, and then the Mahimā or Mahatma of that Vrata, greatness and glories of this Vrata. So those things we will look at here. Again, as always, it is important to follow the guidelines and observe the methods of listening to Purana while listening to this. So that's just a reminder. With that, we will quickly move to the who is Shiva. So just understanding briefly on who is Shiva means. So the definition of word Shiva is given, for example, in Shiva Rahasya, so which is where Lord Bhagavan Shiva himself, he explains that I am Shiva. The Shi means stillness and Va means movement. So move from where the movement is born. So Va means that. So that means Agni, Vayu, water, and all those Panchabhutas and all those things. Or the creation is that represents that Va, and then Shi means I am the Brahman, Brahma Swarupa. And then again in that Shiva says that for this reason, why is one called me as Shiva, that whom everything rests in him, that is the Shi part, and then by whose power everything moves or everything gets created or everything looks like created. So I am Shiva, I am original of living one, I am the unseen, uncreated, who is ever is before. So he says that I am that Brahma Swarupa. So She means here in the first letter, She means It is the bija, it is the primordial cause, it is the Brahman, it is that stillness. And Va means the creation from that seed affects the Maya Swarupa. So again, Shiva, if you drag that, that is the Devi Swarupa, right? So the word Shiva is when you say it, it is means Paramatma Shiva, or it also means Devi. So there is no difference between those two. It is the same. And Brahma Vaivarta Purana, for example, says uh, Shiva as Shivascha Mangale Mokshe Samharta Nacha Drishyate. Shiva Shabdasya Chanyortho Nahi Vede Nirupidaha. So it says that the word Shiva means Mangala, auspicious, and it is Moksha Prada. It is it means moksha as well. So and also it means samharta. It is the destroyer of that avidya, jnana. It is that destroyed it, and through that mangala and moksha, that's attained. So it is that form. And besides that, so it says Shiva Shabdasya cha na anyo artho nahi vede nirupida. So there is no other meaning for Shiva even in the Vedas. So that's what that Brahma Vivarta Purana says. So and if you look at a little bit further, in the Shiva Mahimā Stotra, which is composed by Pushpadanta, there is a shloka, there is a verse in that which says, Bahula Rajase Shivotpattau Bhavaya Namo Namaha, Prabalatamase Tat Sammare Haraya Namo Namaha, Jana Sukakrute Sattvodrikto Vradaya Namo Namaha, Pramahasi Pade Nistraigunne Shivaya Namo Namaha. So the meaning is the Vishwotpatti. So the one through Rajas qualities, Rajas Guna, who creates this world, that Bhava, to you, Namaste, Namo Namaha. And then through Tamas Guna, you Samhare, so you destroy this entire creation. So to that Hara, Namo Namaha. And then Jana Sukha Krute Sattva Drikto. So through the dominance of Sattva Guna, you maintain and protect this world. So that Mrida to you, Namo Namaha. So those are the three first lines, and the last part of this pada of this shloka says that Prahamasi Pade Nistrai Gunna Shivaya Namo. So here it says that your name is Shiva as much as you are beyond these three gunas. So first it says that Rajas guna, through that you create, Tamo guna you do samhara, and then Sattva guna you protect, but you are beyond this three guna, you are beyond these three gunas. You are the supreme bliss, you are the Paramananda. So you are that, so that's why Shiva represents Nistraya Guna. So Madhusudan Saraswati explaining that Rahamasi Pade Nistraigunne Shivaya Namo Namaha in his commentary, in his Vyakhana, he says that Prahamasi Pade Nistraigunne Shivaya Namaha Nirgatam Traigunne Yasmat Nistraigunyam Tasmin Pade Padaniye Tatpada Prapti Nimittam Kidrishe Prahamasi Prahashtam Maya Anabhibhutam Moho Jyotir Stita Sarvottama Prakasharupa Triguna Shunya Moksha Nimittam Ityartha Shivaya Nistraigunya Mangala Surupaya Shivamadvaitam Chaturtam Manyate Iti Shrute. So like this Sri Madhusudan Saraswati in his Vyakhana, he explains that pada of that shloka, Prahamasi Pade Nistraigunya Shivaya Namo Namaha. He says that Shiva transcends the three gunas. He is Nistraiguna, Nirgatam Nistraiguna. So he transcends that, and so that's why he is called Nirgata Nistraigunya. And why Shiva is to be prostrated, why should we be worshipped? Because with the view of attain him, his state, we should worship him. And what is his nature? What is his state? So that nature, he says that Maya Anabhibhutam Moho Jyotir Samstita Sarvottama Prakasharupa Triguna Shunya Moksha Nimittam. So he says that supreme consciousness, effulgence, unaffected, untouched by Maya, that is what it is, and that's the state one should attain. And that is the supreme state of moksha, which is free from all the three gunas. So Shiva Shivaya Nistraigunya Mangala Surupaya. So he says that Shiva is the Mangala Surupa, he is the auspicious Rupa beyond all the three gunas. And he also says that he quotes that in the Shrutis it says that Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyate. So Shivam Advaitam, the pure auspicious essence that is free from the three gunas is Advaita, non-dual, and it is the fourth. It is the fourth state. That is the Turiya state of. That is what this Shiva is means. Shiva means. So again, Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupta. So then three gunas. So the three states normally we experience. So it's a awakening state, wake up when we are awake, and then Swapna, dreaming state. Sushupta is when we are in deep sleep, and then this fourth state is Turiya. So Shiva is in that state, which is pure auspiciousness, which is beyond the three gunas. So it is that's how Srimad Saraswati explains. And again, he quotes here a Shruti Vakya, Shruti statement from the Upanishads. He said, Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyate. So where does that come from? That comes from Mandukya Upanishad. So Mandukya Upanishad says that Nantam Nanta Prajnam Bhai Prajnam No Bhayata Prajnam Na Prajnana Ghanam Na Prajnam Na Aprajnam Adrishtam Avyavayaharyam Agrahyam Alakshanam Achintyam Avyapradeshyam Ekatma Pratyasaram Prapanchopashamanam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyate Sa Atma Sa Vijneyaha. So this is what Mandukya Upanishad says. So here that comes Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam. So what does that mean here? That Turiya fourth state Advaitam, that Chaturtha state is Nanta Prajna Nabhai Prajna No Bhayata Prajna Na Prajnanaganam Na Prajna Na Aprajnam. So this is not conscious, that is of internal world, nor the consciousness of external world, nor the conscious of both worlds, or nor the dense with consciousness, nor simple consciousness, nor unconsciousness, which is Adrushtam Avyavaharyam Agrahyam Alakshanam Achintyam Avyapradeshyam. So this is unseen, actionless, incomprehensible, inferable, uninferable, unthinkable, indescribable. It is Ekatma Pratyasaram. So it is proof, whose proof consists in the identity of Atma itself in all the states. Prapanchopashamanam. So which is in which all phenomena comes to a cessation, which is Shantam Shivam Advaitam. So that is unchanging, auspicious, non-dual. And Sa Atma Sa Vijneya. That is the Atma, and that is to be known. So Shiva is to be known. Shiva transcends, Shiva represents, so that's why this word Shiva represents beyond the three gunas, Nistraigunya, Parabrahma Surupa, who is Nirguna, Nirakara, Nishkriya, and that's what described in the Vedas, Vedantas as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam, and these words that describe. So this is that Shiva form. So Shiva also is worshipped as Rudra. So again, we know him as Rudra, and Shiva Purana, for example, in Koti Rudra Samhita, it says the Shive Triguna Sambhinne Rudretu Guna Dhamani Vastuto Nahi Bhedosti Swarne Tadbhushano Yata. Just like there is no difference between the jewelry and the gold from which that jewelry is made, there is no difference between Rudra and Shiva. Okay, so both are same, and Shiva is beyond the three gunas, and Rudra is just possessing of those gunas. So jewelry has those gunas, its shape or characteristics and things like that, but pure gold does not have anything. It is Nistraguna. So just like that, here as well, Rudra is the guna form, Saguna form, and Shiva is Nirguna form. And that's what is being mentioned. And again, Puranas describe Trimurtis, right? Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. So this is three forms, and Shiva is the Paramatma form. So again, you can call him Shiva, Narayana, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, whatever that Brahman Surupa. Okay. So, but Puranas, when we talk about Puranas and the descriptions and the creation and all these kind of things, we So, and we say that this Lakshana here said as Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, three forms we talk, and Brahma's creation, Vishnu sustenance, and Rudra is destroyer. And Puranas also explained that Rudra has come, has born out of Brahma's anger. So for the destruction role. So Samhara role is been given. But the transcending Brahma, the beyond these Trimurtis, is the Parabrahma, that is the Sadashiva Rupa. And Rudra himself is again defined as Yadrodot Tasmat Rudra. He cries, therefore he is Rudra. And it says Samhara Kale Praja Samharan Rodayati iti Rudra. He who makes people weep by destroying during Samhara Kala destruction time, that is Rudra. And Dukkam Dukka Karanam Va Dravayati iti Rudra. So Ru means suffering or the cause of suffering, and he is the one who destroys it. That's why he is known as Rudra. And Rodana Dravana Dvapi Rudra Ittichet. So he drives away Rodana, that is cry. That's why he is called as Rudra. Rudam Rati Dadati iti Varudraha. So he gives voice, Rudra. That's why he is known as Rudra. So like this, Rudra is defined as in the Shastras, different definitions of Rudra. So ultimately, like many definitions, there are many definitions of Rudra or Shiva. So what we need to remember here is there is no difference between any. Shiva, Rudra, Mahadeva, Shankara, these are all masculine forms, whether you call Shiva, Maheshwari, Shankari, Parvati, all these in feminine forms, Tri Rupa, and then Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam, Anandam, all this Napumsakam, or you can simply say Brahman, which is in the Vedanta, that is the Nirguna Nirakara Rupa of that Tattva. So that Shiva is being worshipped. Again, Shivaratri means again Ratri. The beauty here is Shiva and Ratri united together. That is, Ratri means Devi, right? So we worship Ratri Devi, Maharatri, Kalaratri. So all these Ratri, we call that Devi in that form, right? So Ratri from again there is a Ratri Sukta in Rigveda as well. So this Devi form in Ratri. So Shiva and Ratri together worshipped, or we can call it Shiva's night as well. Ratri also means night. Okay, so it is the night when we worship Shiva, or it is the worship of Shiva with Shiva. So Shiva with Parvati, Shiva with that Devi. So it is in that worshipping in that form. Again, one thing to remember is Shivalinga, when we worship Shivalinga, the linga from the top of the form of that is Shiva form, the male form. And the base which holds that linga is considered as Devi, Parvati's form. Okay, so that's why when we worship Shiva, we are actually worshipping not just Shiva, but Shiva, Parvati together. Always Shiva, Parvati worship together. So that's just a brief intro on Shiva. So we'll quickly look at Shivaratri origin, the origin of Shivaratri. So Shivaratri, there are stories repeated in various Puranas, but I picked here from the Shiva Purana, which is in Vidyeshwara Samhita, where Nandi narrates this story to Sanat Kumara. So this story goes like this. Once upon long ago, Vishnu was sleeping on his Shesha, on this serpent couch. When he was sleeping like that, he was surrounded by Devi, Lakshmi, with his attendants. He was there. Brahma, at that time, he comes there by chance and he sees Vishnu, and then he tells him who is lying there. He looks at him and he tells Vishnu that, get up, seeing me who is your Lord, I have come here. If you do not get up, you should perform expiatory rites. So prayaschitta rites you should be performing, because those who behave haughtily to the elderly persons, they have to perform prayaschitta. Those who are arrogant, who do not give respect to elders, they should perform prayaschitta. If you do not get up and give me respect, because I come here, you should perform prayaschitta after that. Hearing this, Vishnu becomes angry. He says that, assuming a calm exterior, he says that, great to you. Welcome. Please sit on this couch. How is your face is very much agitated. Your eyes look very curious. Brahma says that you know that I have come here. I am greatly need to be greatly honored by you. I am the protector of the worlds. I am the grandfather. I am the protector of you as well. When Brahma says that, Vishnu tells him that the whole universe is situated within me, and you yourself are born out of a lotus coming out of my navel region. So when it is like that, you are like my son. So your words are useless without me. So that's why you are not superior and I don't need to give respect to you. So when Brahma Vishnu says that, both of them like this, they argue each other who is superior, and they became ready to fight. Like they started, Nandi here says that they started to fight like two foolish goats fighting each other, trying to kill, desiring to kill each other. And they seated on their respective vehicle. Brahma seated on Swan, and then Garuda Hamsa, him and Vishnu seated on Garuda. They started fighting each other. They started battling each other. And meanwhile, terrible battle takes place between them. And Vishnu, Devatas watching this battle between these two, the arrows started going everywhere, and then all the Devatas watched this fight between Brahma and Vishnu. Then Vishnu in that battle, he became very much angry and he releases a lot of weapons on Brahma, and Brahma also angrily releases a lot of weapons on Vishnu, and they both strike each other like that. And Vishnu angrily, after fighting long time, he discharges Maheshwara weapon, and in return Brahma angrily releases Pashupata weapons at Vishnu. These two weapons blazing like thousands and thousands of suns, they started with pointed spikes. They started roaring, and when these two weapons faced up each other, terrible clash happened. And then Devatas, looking at this, they thought this entire creation is going to end because of these two weapons, Maheshwara weapon and Pashupata weapons, both are Shiva form, fight, coming together, they will destroy the entire world. So they started remembering Shiva, thinking about Shiva, who is the supreme Brahman Paramatma, and who is the cause of this creation, maintenance, and destruction, concealment, and blessings. They started thinking about him. Without him, even a blade of grass cannot be moved. So they started thinking about him, and they decided to go and see Shiva. So like this, they went to Kailasa, and going there, they saw Parameshwara seated in the shape of Omkara. He was seated there in Kailasa, and he was all the devatas started worshipping him, and he was seated there with Uma Parvati along with him. His right leg was kept over his knee of the left leg. His hands were placed on over the legs, and his attendants were all around him. He was of good features, great character features, and he was fanned by all the ladies with pointed attention. And Vedas were extolling him, praising him, and the Lord, he was blessing everyone assembled there. Like this, on seeing Shiva like that, Devatas becomes very happy. They shed a tear of joy. Devatas knelt down and they worshipped him. And seeing him, Shiva asks his attendants to bring them close to him. And then Shiva addresses him, saying that, "Oh children, I hope the universe and the Devatas and everybody is let all of you flourish. I am aware of the fight between Brahma and Vishnu. That's already known to me. The agitation which you have in your mind, don't worry about that." So saying this, he consoles them, and he gives assurances to them, and he desires to go to the battlefield himself. So he issues his directive to 100 commanders of his attendants, and all of them with musical instruments and everything. They start their journey. They start going to the place where Shiva and Brahma, they were fighting each other. When Shiva reaches mounted on his Omkara-shaped chariot. He goes to that with 5 circular rings. That chariot, he goes there. He was accompanied by his sons and Ganas and things. All the devatas with Indra followed him. So all of them reached that place where Parvati and Shiva, they went to that battlefield there to see that battle. When they were going there, seeing that battlefield between Brahma and Shiva, all the musical instrument, everything stopped, Ganas, everything stopped. The battle, and in that battlefield, Brahma and Achyuta, Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu, desiring to kill each other, they were fighting each other, and the Maheshwara and Pashupata weapons hurled by them was flaming. So, on seeing that imminent destruction of all the creation, Shiva assumed a terrible form. He assumed a form of huge stamba. Stamba is a column, a pillar-like thing. So he assumes that form. The two weapons of the fear, that great energy, joined into that column, and then simultaneously the column of that column became very bright and started burning like a column of a fire. So seeing that column like that, that wonderful thing that happened there, all of them started wondering, what is this? What is this? And then what column is rising up between Brahma and Vishnu like this? And we have to find out like this. Brahma and Vishnu, they started thinking, let's not go together. So saying this, Vishnu assumes the form of a boar, Varavatara, and then he started digging the base of that column and then going below and trying to find the root of where it started and what is the form of that. Brahma assumes the form of a swan, Hamsarupa, and then he started flying up and to see the top of it. So piercing through the bottom base, Vishnu goes. As long as he goes, he could not see anything. Utterly exhausted, he comes back and he comes to the battleground again, and he stays there. Brahma, on the other hand, goes up and up and up. As he was going up, a Ketaki flower falls down. He sees a Ketaki flower falling down, and seeing that Ketaki flower falling down, he asks that Ketaki flower, "Where are you falling from?" He gets hold of that Ketaki flower and he asks, "Where are you falling from?" Ketaki says that, "I am falling down from that primordial column that is cannot be described. It taken a long time for me to fall down from there, and I do not know the top as well. So as you were battling each other, Shiva started laughing, and as he started laughing, I was sitting on his head. I was on his head, and I fell down from there." So Ketaki says like this. So Brahma tells that Ketaki flower. He says that, "Okay, let's go. You tell that I have seen the top of this column. So you tell him, Vishnu, who is there like that. So you go and tell him like that. So you became my witness. So hereafter you have become my witness, and you should say that I have seen the top of this column." So like this, they return into that battleground, original place where they were battling. Brahma danced with joy. He goes to Vishnu and he says that, "I have seen the top of that column. Have you seen the bottom base of this?" And Vishnu says, "No, I could not see." Then Brahma says that, "This Ketaki is my witness. So I have seen the top of." And Ketaki repeated that falsehood, whatever Brahma said, it repeated. And when the flower repeated Hari, Vishnu agrees, thinks that it is true, and he does namaskara to Brahma, thinking he is superior, and he managed to see it. And he pays his homage. So seeing this, Shiva angrily he creates. Shiva becomes visible from that column, and when Shiva becomes visible, he decides to punish Brahma for his trickery, and he creates a terrible form of him known as Kala Bhairava. So that Bhairava is even terrible to the Kala himself. Kala is the one who destroys at the end of the Brahma's life, entire universe, he is the one who destroys. And in that Kala form, Shiva destroys. So even that Kala is terrified of this Bhairava. That's why he's known as Kala Bhairava. He creates him. On seeing that Shiva form, Vishnu stands up and shaking. He worships that Shiva form, and Shiva becomes very much pleased with him, and he says that Hare, I am very pleased with you. That's why among all the general public and devatas, you will have equal footing as me. So those who worship you worship me as well. So we both are same, and you will be honored likewise, just like they worship me. You will be worshipped as well, and you will be uh, separate from me, having a separate temple, installation of murtis, festivals, worships, and those kind of things. Also, you will have all those things. And like this, Vishnu was blessed by Shiva at that moment. And then Brahma, then through that Bhairava through his little finger, nail of his little finger, he removes the fifth head of Brahma. And then Brahma, that Bhairava story continues. He becomes Brahmahatya dosha and things like that. But here, Vishnu at that time starts praying, saying that forgive Brahma, and Brahma also then starts praying to Shiva, and then Shiva blesses Brahma, and he says that you will not be worshipped by anybody. And then Brahma seeks forgiveness from his, so from Vishnu, and then Brahma seeks forgiveness from Shiva. So you will be excluded from all the temples. You will not have any of that. But in all the domestic and public yajna sacrifices that's performed, you will be the presiding deity. So you will be the presiding devata in this. So like this, because of Brahma praise, he was given that post. So again, in sacrifices and homas and whatever one performs, you see that there is a Brahma. A Brahmana is sitting in the Brahma position. He does not chant any mantras, or he does not do any offerings or anything to that homa fire, sacrificial fire. All he does is sits, and his job is to make sure that everybody is doing the homa correctly. Okay, that is his job. So that's why he becomes the Brahma's role. The Brahmana plays that role in that. Again, if there is only one Brahmana, normally a coconut is placed there saying that this is Brahma. Brahma is invoked in that coconut. So like this, the homas are performed. So coming here, like this, Brahma blesses, Brahma was blessed by Shiva, but he was still also, for his arrogance and falsehood, he was excluded from having temples and festivals and things like that. So then looking at the Ketaki flower, Shiva says that, oh Ketaki, you are roguish and deceitful, so that's why go away. From here onwards, I have no desire to include you in my worship. So you are excluded from all my worships. So like this, Shiva says that he excludes Ketaki from his all worships. But Ketaki again worships Shiva in that place, and then Ketaki says that anyone who has seen it, whether it is through my ill luck, my bad behavior or good behavior, I have managed to see you. And anyone who sees you should not go away empty handed. So give me something. So, like this, Ketaki begs for forgiveness from Shiva, and Shiva becomes happy, and she says that it is still not proper for me to wear you, but my attendants and followers can wear you, and also in all decorations you can be used. So it's like this. Ketaki flower was blessed by Shiva and also punished, saying that so when Shiva pujas, we should not keep Ketaki flower on top of Shivalinga, but we can use it as a decoration items or in Shiva's attendance, Nandi or other worships, we can use Ketaki flower. So that's why Ketaki was blessed as well. So in the meantime, again, Brahma and Vishnu standing silently on either side of that Bhagavan, they worshipped him, and they installed Bhagavan Shiva in that, and they worshipped him. and that both Brahma and Vishnu worshipped him. And Ishvara again, he says that I am delighted with your worship. So that's why from this day, it become known as famous as Shivaratri, the holiest of holy days, and it is very pleasing to me. The one who performs worship of my linga or the murti, my form of my murti on this day, will be competent to perform the task of even the creation and maintenance like Brahma and Vishnu. They will become such a thing. So that's why let a devotee shall observe fast on the Shivaratri day, and during the day and night he should observe the fast, and he shall perfectly restrain his sense organs. He shall adore me with flowers to the extent of his strength, and he shall not deceive anyone. And by the worship of Shivaratri day, a devotee attains that fruit which usually accrues one who continuously worships me for a year. So just by doing worship on that one day, the devotee will attain the worship of merits of worshipping entire year. And again, this is the time when the virtue of devotion increases in me. Festivals like this, installation of my murtis and so on that day is very auspicious. On that auspicious day, the vision of that Shivalinga alone, it gives ample results, ample merits that cannot be described. Such merits are given on that day. So again, in Skanda, like this Shiva explains, so just on that column form Shiva is formed between Vishnu and Brahma. That column form, Shiva also says that I will remain in this form, but in a smaller size. Okay, so in Arunachala Kshetra Mahatma, in Skanda Purana, we see that Arunachaleshwara in Tamil Nadu, today's Tamil Nadu, we see there is a holy Shivalinga, and in that on top of a mountain. That Shivalinga, even today, people say that it is, once you enter that inside that temple, it is very hot. Okay, and that Shivalinga is said as the one that where Shiva came up in this column form. And on this Shivaratri Vrata as well, there are three. So like this Shivaratri Vrata was started, and Shiva says that this is the day Shivaratri Vrata should be formed. So the Shivaratri is normally performed as three types. Nitya Shivaratri, which is kind of all days, every day one worshipping Shiva, and then another one is Masa Shivaratri, another one is Maha Shivaratri. So Chaturdashi Tata Shambho Priya Nastatra Samshiha Nishita Samyuta Yatu Krishna Pakshi Chaturdashi Uposhyasa Tithi Shrestha Shiva Sayujyakarani Shivaratri Tithi Khyata Sarva Papa Pranashini Atraivoda Harantim Amitahasam Puratanam. So like this Skanda Purana says. So this Chaturdashi day is the favorite of Shambhu. There is no doubt about it. The Chaturdashi of Krishna Paksha, which extends to midnight, is the tithi one should observe the fast. So, for example, if Shivaratri Chaturdashi ends by midday or in the evening or something like that, that is not the day one should observe. We should observe the previous night when it is at the midnight. It extends over midnight. That is the Chaturdashi one should pick. And it is excellent. It is very excellent and conductive to attainment of Sayujya, identity with Shiva. And that Tithi Shivaratri is well known and is destroyed of all these sins. So that's what Skanda Purana says. So by observing again monthly on that Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi day, Vrata, Shivaratri Vrata, a devotee again attains Sayujya Mukti with Sayujya with Shiva himself, and all his sins through that all his sins gets destroyed. And Skanda Purana also gives more details of that Shivaratri Vrata, and Shiva Rahasya also says that by abstaining from taking food once every month on the Krishna Paksha that comes before Amavasya, which is this Chaturdashi day, Shivaratri, that is known as Shivaratri Upavasa. And from that Upavasa, which is to be observed before the Amavasya day in the month of Magha, is known as Mahashivaratri. So Shivaratri observed every month is known as Masa Shivaratri, and then the one that is in the Magha Masa Chaturdashi, Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, that is known as Mahashivaratri, which is the most excellent among all the Upavasas. And Shiva says that to anyone who observes that Vrata on the Mahashivaratri, I will bestow all kinds of blessings upon those who observe the Upavasa on that day. Who observe Upavasa with devotion, I will give them everything, and who remain watchful on that entire night, who remain awake on that entire night, I will give them everything. And by the practice of this Upavasa, my devotee will be cleansed of all the sins, and he will grow, his jnana will grow, he will attain the moksha like that. So Shivaratri, Shiva explains, one who observes the fast on that day gets all his wishes fulfilled, he will attain moksha as well. So Shivaratri Upavasa for successive years acquires knowledge, wealth, success and happiness. Such a man also attains Shivaloka after his mukti from this body. So it also, Skanda Purana also says previously, King Mandata, Dundumara, Harishchandra, and many other kings attained Siddhi through this Shivaratri Vrata alone. And similarly, many other kings and rishis and others attained greatness and Shiva Sahajya through this Vrata. Similarly, we see this Vrata again, the greatness of this Vrata described not in just in Shiva Purana or Skanda Purana, it is described in Agni Purana, mentioned in Bhagavata Purana, Vishnu Purana, Skanda, Garuda, Linga Purana, Narada Purana, various other Puranas as well. The Shivaratri Vrata is mentioned, and that Vrata Vidhana, how to perform that Vrata, and what are the merits, how to do Udyapana. Again, I said one should perform this Vrata for many years. What is the Udyapana, how to conclude that Vrata, and then a story related to this Vrata. We'll look at that next time. Vande Deepaumapatim Suragaram Vande Jagatkaranam Vande Pannakabhushanam Mrgadharam Vande Pashunam Pathim Vande Sureshashankavanyanam Vande Mukundapriyam Vande Bhaktajanashriyam Cha Varadam Vande Shivam Shankaram Karacharanakritam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Shravananayanajam Va Manasam Va Paradam Vihitam Avitam Va Sarvametakshasma Kshamasva Shiva Shiva Karunabde Sri Mahadeva Shambho Hara Namaha Parvati Padaye Hara Mahadeva.